Okay. But is there anything particular where you say, oh, this good should really be actually in one mode of transport versus the other?
Well, I mean, you analyze any supply chain and look for. I mean, that's one of the things we have people who do is look for supply chains where there are advantages from transitioning from truck to rail.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then coming and thinking about this a little differently, so let's take the G&Ws or the Watcos or the Omnitracks, the Patriots or what have, all these different conglomerates. Is their cost structure going to differ significantly from a smaller mom and pop or a subscale conglomerate?
Sure. I mean, that's why they rolled them up in the first place.
Yeah.
The overheads get spread thinner.
So it's really on the corporate overhead as opposed to other
and
things.
Yeah, and the application of management expertise. I mean, one of the critical success factors for a well-run railroad is to maintain the track structure properly. Manage the drainage, control all the elements of the track structure. The mostly the gauge of the rail, the tie condition which impacts that. All those kinds of things. And, you don't learn about those things in any college course. And if you have somebody who can, evaluate a track structure and figure out the best way to maintain it and what needs to be renewed over what time period and organize that work, that's a huge driver. And, so if you have somebody with those skills and, you turn them loose on a portfolio of short lines, you get a big multiplicative factor of value creation. And that's just, so it's not just overhead spreading, but I just used that particular example, but it works that way as well for, industrial development and employee training and customer service processes. I mean, companies like you just mentioned have the, we can do it like we've done here. We have, a handful of people supporting 20 railroads across 4 time zones, with a 20-hour, it's not 24 by 7, it's 20 by 7, a customer service function. And, that's far less expensive. We got less than one person per road, if you spread it out, and you'd never get that level of customer support and service, without consolidation.
Right, and so maybe a follow-on question to that is, I often think about like the Amazonization of industries, where, and so do you really see that in short line where people expect something a lot faster than they used to, or is what I have heard, and I don't want to lead the witness, but I have heard some people say, well, the transparency that you get in those type of environments, so knowing that where my shipment is today or right now, you're starting to see interest in that in the market.
Well, that transparency is valuable if you're doing a special shipment. If I want to get a book, which is where Amazon started, and I want to get, I want to get it before I leave on my trip so I can read it on the plane, you want to know where the book is so you don't leave it behind or you have it before you go. But in most railroad-oriented supply chains, you're moving, not moving products that are, for the consumer. You're moving raw materials or semi-finished materials far earlier in the value chain, and you're moving it from, one value-added place to an inventory location. So, it's only when somebody's misordered or they get some market action that they didn't expect that there's a lot of energy around where a particular shipment is. But because that's not the nature of it.
Okay. That makes sense. So I want to just move, and you may not know too much about this, but I want to go back into that Memphis market a little bit. Are you able to describe the competitive landscape, for instance, perhaps the top 5 short line operators in the region in terms of their size and capability.